Welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are.
It's Driveway Drive-In with your hosts, Adam and Paul. Welcome to the Monster Home.
All your nightmares are about to be transformed into one single, inescapable fear.
Tonight I'm going to show you something. Make you believe.
The Howling. Beyond anything human. Rated R.
Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspapers.
Hi, and welcome to Driveway Drive-In. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm the co-host. My name is Adam.
And today we are continuing our werewolf double feature with The Howling, Joe Dante's 1980 werewolf classic and my favorite werewolf movie. Pretty excited to review this one with you.
Me too. I mean, I've said in the last episode, like, the werewolf is my favorite movie monster. To be talking about this 2 episodes in a row is a special treat for me, but yeah.
Before we get into it, The Howling is a werewolf movie, obviously. It's about a reporter who is kind of brought into the world of werewolves who live within society by getting calls from a serial killer named Eddie, and she agrees to meet him in a adult film store. She doesn't see him because it's a darkened back room. Not that I have any personal experience with those rooms. Do you?
No, neither does Pee Wee Herman, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I always just took it home.
Like
I didn't need, I was never in that much of a rush that I just had to, stick around. I was just hoping that no one I knew saw my car in the lot. So anyways, but yeah, it was a different time apparently, and
or not.
I just wanted to get back to my apartment, and
we got it.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so she agrees to meet this guy in this filthy porn store.
I've never wanted to fast forward through one part of a movie so mad in my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's where the serial killer that she's been tracking is.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
She's wearing a wire for her news team for an exclusive, yet the police kind of don't know where she is. They're not really following her or looking out for her.
No, they're not super interested.
They're just whatever, I don't really understand the whole mentality of the news team, but regardless, there's a shootout. The LAPD opens fire without really knowing where anyone is.
Right. And I just want to point out right here, Paul, this is interesting. Your favorite werewolf movie is this movie, the one we're talking about, The Howling.
Yeah.
And mine, which I've repeated annoyingly many times throughout the show, is American Werewolf in London. And it's just funny that, your favorite werewolf movie begins with a shootout in a porno theater.
Yes.
My favorite werewolf movie ends with a shootout, outside of a porno theater.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a yin and a yang.
Basically, I like the happy ending.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Goodness. We need a drum roll.
All right. So yeah, they're watching. So she goes through a post-traumatic stress incident after nearly being blown away and nearly killed by this creepy serial killer guy. So she starts seeing a psychiatrist, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up this clip real quick. This is her meeting with the psychiatrist because she's suffering from amnesia from the event. Anything else you want to add about this part?
I think I'm good.
You think you're good? All right. So
just get on.
clip is coming up right now.
You can't be afraid of dreams.
I can't help it. All I remember is pushing open the door, and then I'm outside, and the police are there, and Bill's there, and the remote crew, and it's over. And there's this blood on me, and I can't imagine who it might have come from.
You can't remember anything that happened inside the booth?
No, not really. Just weird little pieces in my dreams.
How are you and Bill?
Trying to communicate. Okay, tell me, Doctor, how crazy am I?
Completely banana.
I think so.
I'm going to recommend that you go out to the colony for a week or two.
Your place up north there?
That's right. I only recommend it to very special patients, ones who I think will benefit from its environment. It's a place where you can recharge your batteries. It'll enable you to try and get back to what you really are.
What goes on up there?
Well, seminars, some group therapy. It's very low-key. It'll be a good place to try and tackle this amnesia thing.
I don't know if I want to remember.
What?
Doc said once I remembered what happened, it wouldn't scare me anymore. I'm not so sure.
Honey, give this place a chance, okay? We gotta do something.
Well, I hope these people aren't too weird.
So this is kind of what gets her to the colony. Now, we forgot to mention before the clip, she has a breakdown when interviewed about the events that happened.
Yeah, because she was like an on-air personality.
Yeah, she was a reporter for this TV news station. And it's, I want to say, everybody that worked at that news station was pretty much...
They're pretty incompetent. It's like college level.
It is college level. But it's not just that, but they're just like, no, that's a professional. And,
yeah,
and like comparing to someone else.
Right.
But, I'm like, she was almost shot to death or almost filleted by a serial killer. And
they might have rushed her back to work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like every job that I've ever had where it's like you...
But she's like she's trying to do the, the normal nightly news, right? Television broadcast. But she's like freaking out and she is stuttering and stammering. Like she can't read the teleprompters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I'm Ron Burgundy. It kind of reminded me of...
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of it was a sad scene for the character and you could just see her life being unraveled by these few moments. And we get to the...
This reminded me of the Anchorman a little bit there.
Yeah, it did. Another interesting...
Ron can't read these teleprompters. Hey.
A really interesting fact is everybody that worked at the news station had the name of a werewolf movie director.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah, so...
I haven't delved into that yet because I want to see how, deep it goes.
Yeah. But it's...
I mean, every main character had the name of a director that made a werewolf movie. Think of that.
Yeah.
And off the top of my head, I can only name you 5 movies. So I gotta go deep into the well here.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there's not that many of them. But it was kind of a cool little thing that Joe Dante did.
Yeah.
With his characters.
Right.
Now, this was also written by John Sayles, who also was a filmmaker. He was also working on one of his early films, Alligator, which I hope to do on the show soon, if it ever gets a proper home release. The Alligator is a great movie. He was working simultaneously on Alligator and The Howling at the same time. He was also a psychology major, and he kind of wanted to lampoon the psychiatry industry with this movie that follows this very new age, very...
What was this writer's name again?
John Sayles.
Now, he's an interesting cat, man.
Yeah.
Because they even said, producers of certain movies would walk up to his door, knock on his door. You'd hear him. They'd ask him, who is it? And then they would tell him, and depending on what movie it was, he would take the paper out of his typewriter and replace it with,
the appropriate script.
The script that he should have been working, because he was working on so many scripts, for so many people. He was just a really good script writer, and that came for cheap.
Yeah. Everything about this movie was low budget,
and he had a cameo role in this movie as the one of my favorite tropes, which is the morgue guy that doesn't care about gross bodies.
Yeah, like there's a brain on the table, and he's just like, whatever.
I mean, that's really cool. I mean, they put him in the movie.
But yeah.
I mean, that seems to be a thing with Joe Dante just in general.
Yeah.
People that he works with, he puts in the movies, and he's very loyal. He uses these people again and again and again and again.
Well, in the beginning, there's like this long shot of her in a phone book. It's the phone booth where she's talking, and there's a man standing behind her. And then she leaves the phone booth, and they stay on the man. And the man was Roger Corman,
right,
who led Joe Dante co-direct Hollywood Boulevard and direct his first feature, Piranha, which is a movie that I'm sure we will do.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'm a big Corman fan, but it was kind of cool to see Roger Corman in the movie. So yeah, this brings her to the colony. Now the colony is full of interesting characters. You have the typical California, ultra rich, new age religion, Scientology, everything. There's like a list of. There's a scene where she's Dee Wallace's character is walking with one of the other members. And she's going through like the laundry list of all the different new age religions and everything.
And I actually thought to myself, what's more far-fetched, the existence of werewolves, or that this person was a Scientologist and they let her get away?
Yeah, right.
They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have.
Yeah, they really wouldn't have.
No.
But
like back on the beach, like when they were on the beach and they were like meeting all those people for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was like the, I don't know, it was like the Tom Atkins look-alike contest. Because her guy, Dee Wallace, first of all, her name's Karen.
Karen, yes.
Which is a unfortunate name in 2020.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that name these days.
No, especially when you're a blonde.
Right. And she was. But her friend Bill, her boyfriend, I guess.
Husband.
Right. Has very strong Tom Atkins, like Chuck Norris, like vibes.
Yeah, and he's a vegetarian. And
he has a mustache.
Yeah.
And that's all you really need to know about this guy.
Yeah, there's him. There's also another guy who's got another great Tom Atkins-esque mustache.
Like when you learn that somebody has a mustache, like what more do you need to know? That says a lot.
That is character development.
That says a lot about somebody.
That's easy character development.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they start going there. There's
like this Marsha lady. Remember Marsha?
Yes, Marsha. I will never forget Marsha.
Marsha's like making like eyes at Bill.
Yes.
I mean, and how could you not with that mustache?
No, exactly.
But she's apparently like a nymphomaniac that's dressed like Xena, Princess Warrior.
She looked like she was a backup dancer in a Cher video. You know, like after she was mad at Sonny Bono.
But she's like one of these girls that like is hotter. Like she thinks she's hotter than she actually is.
Well, that's to be.
I guess that's to be debated. All right, cool. And then also going on, like, I guess okay. And later on, as you discover in this movie, it's not warranted. But there's the old guy kind of like muttering to himself, who is played by
John Carradine.
John Carradine, who was in Grapes of Wrath.
Yes, he was in Grapes of Wrath. He was Dracula in the House of Dracula.
Right, like this very accomplished, legendary actor.
Yeah, I would say so.
Upon first watch, I didn't know it was John Carradine.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was just like this old man. And like, he's like mumbling to himself and he's like sad. He's like one of these old people you see at Eaton Park that are just kind of like eating by themselves.
Me in 35 years.
or like in a week. Well, depending on.
It has been a long week. It's been a very
Depending on that first story you told. Man, it might be sooner than that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But anyway, you know, and he's just like muttering to me. It's almost like he can't fit in. And that like almost broke my heart because it's like I can't even. If I'm at a restaurant and I see an old person eating by themselves, like I almost want to just like hug them while they're eating, like help them eat and like cut the meat and like force feed them. Have you ever had that? The way you're looking at me, have you ever had that reaction?
No.
To old people living. Okay, all right.
I mean, I feel bad when I see somebody by themselves.
No, I just want to comfort them and help them eat.
Well,
I mean, I'll baby bird it. I'll chew it up and spit it in their mouths if I have to. Anyway, but anyway, it turns out that like we don't have. Well, anyway.
Here I was thinking like the porn store memory was going to be the most awkward part of the freaking podcast.
I think you inspired me.
Okay.
All right, so where do we go from here?
All right, Birdman. So we're talking about John Carradine and not fitting in.
I got the latter part down. Not fitting in.
Yeah. Well, apparently he just needs his food chewed up for him.
Well, didn't he seem sad?
No, he was sad.
And then he like was going to like end it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I'll take you to Eaton Park. I'll get you a smiley cookie.
Yeah, I'll get you a nice fish dinner.
But that's not what he wanted, as it turned out.
No.
He's a werewolf.
Yeah. Well, actually, everybody is.
Well, I guess that's the point of the movie.
Yeah,
They're all werewolves.
Yes.
All right.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, so we have this, and then we have like her friends from the station, and she's trying to contact them to research this Eddie character that was killed in the shootout.
He's a serial killer from the porno thing, but like his body disappears from the morgue.
And then they find out, and they get to go to this bookstore which is owned and operated by Dick Miller.
Yep.
Who is a frequent Joe Dante cast member. Just an all-around great guy.
Dick Miller from Gremlins,
Chopping Mall. It's just always great to see him in a movie. But he owns this bookstore that has like a lot of occult books. He sees like nuns shopping in there, and he goes, "Here comes another one." And he's actually, that's a great clip to play. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up.
That's a good one.
So I'm gonna pull up Dick Miller, his scene. We'll be right back.
We get them all. Sun worshippers, moon worshippers, Satanists. The Manson people used to hang around here and shoplift. Bunch of deadbeats.
Do you know of any groups that are into stealing corpses?
Body snatching? No. If you want to read about it, I got a book for you. Slide me down. That's it. You name it, I got the book.
A number of young women were killed in the next month, their bodies exhibiting signs of animal attack.
What's that?
Warlocks, werewolves, and demons.
Please, you're gonna purchase. Not leave him alone. You get him greasy.
We'll find out if any of Eddie's killings were on a full moon.
Hey, that's a lot of Hollywood baloney. Your classic werewolf could change shape anytime it wants, day or night, whenever it takes a notion to. That's why I call them shapeshifters. I got a dozen books on it.
What about killing it with silver bullets?
Oh, sure. Silver bullets are fire. It's the only way to get rid of the damn things. They're worse than cockroaches. They come back from the dead if you don't kill them right. Plus, they regenerate. You know what that is? Cut off an arm, cut off a leg, stick a knife in a heart. Nothing. They may look dead, but bam, 3 days later, they're as good as new.
You believe in this?
What am I, an idiot? I'm making a buck here. You want books? I got books. I got chicken blood. I got dog embryos. I got black candles. I got wolf bane. Look at this. Silver bullets. Some joker ordered them. 3006. Never picked them up. I take Bank America, American Express, Visa. You gonna buy that or what?
Yeah, these two.
Oh, there's some incredible old pictures in this book.
That's a good book.
So it's always great to see Dick Miller, and it's also I love his character in this movie because he genuinely, you can't tell if he genuinely believes or if he's just trying to make a buck.
Maybe a little of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
He kind of like displays that like he doesn't believe in it. But like, how do you like establish this very successful store apparently
with
when you don't believe in what you're selling?
And another great cameo in the scene is Howard Ackerman, who did Famous Monsters magazine.
Yeah,
is actually in the scene, and he's holding his own magazine.
Go figure.
In it, which was kind of a fun little scene in the movie. But yeah, he reminded me so much of the gunsmith from Silver Bullet with the special, like this intricate knowledge of werewolves.
Yeah.
They're fun characters, and I kind of would like to see like a crossover movie about like how these two guys deal with the occult, or something like that.
A movie with those two guys, as like the protagonist, would be outstanding.
Yeah.
Digging deep in our research here, when we were just trying to find some kind of correlation between this werewolf movie and the werewolf movie we previously reviewed. This guy, Rob Bottin, apparently Bottin, pardon me, is a special effects genius, apparently, and he did all of the effects in this film, all the werewolf effects.
Yeah, he did the most famous werewolf transformation scene, which I'm sure we'll be talking about shortly.
And I wish I could say that he did all of the werewolf effects with the previous film, Silver Bullet. However, I can't say that, but he did handle, which is curious.
Yeah.
He did the special effects for the church scene in Silver Bullet, which is the best werewolf effects of the entire film.
Yeah.
Which is basically the entire congregation starts turning into werewolves.
Yeah. And you can kind of sense that it's somebody different. But
now that I know that.
Yeah.
Because that sticks out like a sore thumb in that movie. It feels like it's almost like a completely different film.
Yeah. Which I think if he had done the whole movie, it wouldn't be such a cult classic.
It would just be a classic.
It would just be a classic, like this movie and American Werewolf.
Right.
But yeah, he also did the design for RoboCop, including the famous body melt scene. Just a really great, great effects guy. So this gets the reporters out to the colony. Bill, with his mustache, and he had just taken up hunting with all the old guys. Despite being a vegetarian,
right?
He decided to take up hunting. He gets a gigantic Night of the Lepus sized jackrabbit.
He kills a rabbit. It's like bigger than most dogs.
Like my dog was actually pretty terrified of the rabbit. She is notorious bunny patrol. So he kills the bunny. He goes to see Marcia. Marcia throws himself at him again, and he backs away.
She like bites his lip.
Yeah.
Like that was a no. That was a deal breaker. She like bites his lip and like cuts him, and he's like, "Oh man, you're messed up. I don't want to do this no more."
No. This is, my college days are over.
Yeah.
I'm with Karen now.
Karen.
And he leaves, and then he's attacked by a werewolf. Has to get rabies shots, which I think is kind of like the werewolf form of protection. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of like the pill for werewolves or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this starts this transformation into the character of Bill.
Right.
And this brings the reporters down to the colony to meet with Karen and them.
Real quick. I mean to jump in. You mind if I cut in, Paul?
Go ahead, sir.
I want to tap your shoulder like we're at a wedding. There's like so there's like this pack of unusual people here at this the colony, right?
Yes.
And like we've already kind of specified, they're a cast of unusual characters.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be. But there's one guy named TC.
That's Marsha's brother.
Who's his brother, her brother, right?
Yes.
Right. And he's basically, if you look at the guy, he's like basically like feral Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking that like Last Dance with Mary Jane was going to play every time I saw the guy. But
yeah.
The thing about him is that, okay, we've already kind of let the cat out the bag that everyone in the colony is a werewolf, correct?
Correct.
TC's not hiding it very well.
Yeah, there's company, and like he's like the child that just basically blurts out.
Well, look, here's the deal. Well, part of the
survival instinct.
Well, part of the appeal of being a werewolf is that like you're completely covered during the day. Like if you kill somebody, you can be out. I don't know, like you can be just like a normal person.
Yeah.
It can't be Bob. Bob was at McDonald's. All right. TC, as a human, just like walking around at your Walmart or whatever, wears a wolf fur vest, and he's like constantly like sniffing and like twitching. And it's just like, dude, you got to get work on your poker face.
Well, I think, that character...
That's the whole point of being a werewolf. They can't figure out who you are.
Yeah. That character works in this movie, though, because it's obviously
like dumbass.
Like, do you think that there's only one werewolf?
If you're a werewolf, don't wear a wolf vest.
But yeah, it's a werewolf. It's obvious that he's a werewolf.
Well, too obvious.
It is, but you're going for this idea that there's only one at the camp.
Yeah.
And the surprise is that everybody is.
Like back to Dick Miller for a second. Not to jump around, but that's kind of what I do. Love that guy.
Yes.
One of the books one of the kids checks out is Warlocks, Werewolves, and Demons.
Yes.
And like when I was a kid, I was notorious for checking out books like that. I used to love libraries.
Oh, I know.
I loved going to libraries. And I would check stuff out like that all the time. And I'm pretty sure I'm still on some weird FBI watch list for like warlocks that I never brought back to the library.
Oh, yeah. Well, the book, and it has very famous illustrations in it.
I knew a lot of those illustrations. That's how much of a nerd I am.
Yeah.
Like some of those werewolf illustrations, like I have books like those, or I've seen books like those.
Yeah. Colony.
Yeah, I messed this up. But we are at the colony.
Okay. So we're at the colony. This brings the first werewolf attack. It also brings the reporters to the colony. And now Bill is no longer a vegetarian. He'll eat whatever is given to him.
Right.
Much like my dog.
True.
Which is, I need to clear my head from the porn theater.
You certainly do.
And now we're going to do that. So yeah, the reporters show up. there's a werewolf attack on the girl. She escapes by using an axe to chop off the arm of one of the werewolves.
Is it Dee Wallace or is this her friend?
No, this is her friend.
Okay.
Brenda Belasky's character.
Right. Okay.
This scene with she has to escape through the cabin and hide. And I always remember this scene scaring me when I was a little kid. And it's just such a great werewolf scene.
Yeah, it is.
One thing I'll say about this movie, and I love it when the werewolves aren't sympathetic. They are definitely not sympathetic in this movie.
You want to go into that now or at the end?
Well, we can go into that at the end.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're definitely scary.
Yeah, they're nightmarish creatures.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It really is. And like, you're not rooting for them at all. Or like for them to find a cure or something. You're like, just put them down.
Or like for them to find like the head werewolf or something.
Yeah, there's
just
no,
because they're not seeking absolution.
No, they're not. And this was kind of like what John Sayles was doing with the lampooning of the psychology industry with, a big thing is about repression and how, you need to let go of repression because that's psychologically damaging. Well, everyone here is completely unrepressed.
Right.
And it's very id-like. I think that plays into this whole colony of them living your best life, the YOLO werewolf clan. So yeah, I think that adds to a certain level of complexity with the story that makes it, so much more enjoyable.
I would agree.
Okay. So
have we touched upon the character of Eddie?
So Eddie has escaped. We did talk about that. His body was missing from the morgue.
I mean, he's a werewolf.
Yeah. So he is a werewolf.
He's the one that killed Dee's friend. Yes. And the most memorable transformation scene, that I've seen since American Werewolf. And like watching this movie, like we have a Facebook horror group and we're both very proud of it. But repeatedly, you keep hearing, best werewolf transformation, best werewolf transformation, best werewolf transformation. And it's always attributed to American Werewolf in London.
Yes.
And I think I still agree with that. However, seeing this movie, a retort to that should always be, have you seen The Howling?
Yeah. And
because there was no cutaways. And the whole point of the transformation scene, first of all, Rob Bottin is a special effects master. He designed the RoboCop suit. Okay, he worked on The Fog, Total Recall. He worked on The Thing. He did most of the design work on Humanoids of the Deep. And like I had said before earlier, the church scene from Silver Bullet. This guy knows what he's doing. He took this as a personal challenge.
Yes.
To make a werewolf scene transformation where they don't do any cutaways, where you see most of the transformation on, in one single cut. And, tell me it's not effective. Watch it and compare it to American Werewolf. And I don't mean to do like a war type of back and forth with it, but.
Well, I mean, they're both excellent scenes.
They're both excellent scenes, but only one was done in one cut. Yeah. That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah. It was the first time that was ever even attempted. When Joe Dante was interviewed about it, he said that was one of the production goals of this movie was to show the first werewolf transformation without cutaways.
I kind of think like everyone picks American Werewolf because David is like suffering. And in this scene, like the werewolf is actually kind of like, it doesn't bother him. So there's no acting involved per se. It's just the transformation.
Yeah, and you don't have any sympathy. You're actually, you're feeling
Right.
suspense because he's turning into the werewolf. It's horrific. He's like, I'm smiling through it, which adds kind of a twist to it that you don't see really in any other werewolf.
Like he enjoys turning into a werewolf.
Yeah, like
a werewolf.
Like he feels that this is like he's finally becoming who he really is.
Yeah, it's his true self.
Yeah. And I think if anything, I would imagine like the scene of him turning back into human would be like the painful David scene, if there was one.
Right.
But
and just to like hammer in the point that Joe Dante likes to work with the same people and is extremely loyal.
Yeah.
Roberto Picardo plays Eddie Quist.
Yes.
And he was also in these are other Joe Dante features. The only one he wasn't in essentially was the original Ghostbusters, where according to Joe Dante he was cut. So maybe he was in that movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was in Gremlins 2. He was in Explorers. He was in Inner Space.
Yeah.
He was in The Burbs.
Yeah.
I mean, and it has nothing to do with Joe Dante, but can I just tell you from a personal standpoint, Roberto Picardo, Paul.
Yes.
Was Meg Mucklebones in Legend.
Oh, wow.
And that, if you are someone like me, is just straight nightmare fuel. Or, just love for the genre. I love Legend.
Yeah. Meg Mucklebones is probably one of my top cinematic witches of all time.
It's so great. It's all special effects, but his performance really nails it home. He's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't mean to derail it. Please continue.
But yeah. So we have the showdown. The werewolves are starting to kill off like the remaining characters so that it's just down to Karen and the guy from the news station who goes back to Dick Miller's shop to buy the silver bullets.
Yeah, the cachet of silver bullets.
Yeah. They so they have the final showdown at the barn. And an interesting fact about the barn was it was originally supposed to be like filmed like an orgy, and Dee Wallace was not too keen on like her walking into the barn and there's like 10 naked women and with their boobs out, and she's just like, this looks ridiculous. So the producer of the movie like raced to the set, looked at it, and she goes, she's right, it looks stupid.
Yeah, he agreed with her.
Yeah. So everyone ended up having to do wardrobe for this final confrontation with the colony members and the big reveal that everybody's a werewolf.
Like the assistant from the guy that comes with the silver bullets. Who's that guy?
Yes.
He buys it from Dick Miller. Doesn't matter what his name is, but he's the boyfriend of
the girl that gets killed.
The girl that gets killed.
By Eddie.
Come to us for exact facts, folks. But anyway, he shows up with a rifle and a plethora of silver bullets.
Yes.
And he starts like mowing them down. And like the werewolves are just like, this is actually pretty cool. Because he starts shooting these werewolves and they're dying, but the werewolves can't believe that anybody like has silver bullets. So they just keep coming. They're like, that's not a silver bullet. And they just keep like marching forward into their eventual demise. But so eventually they figure out, oh man, these are really silver bullets.
Yeah.
And they like kind of like duck into the barn.
So,
and then the barn doors close.
And then they set the barn on fire.
Well, here's the thing though. Like he puts the rifle, he's got this rifle full of silver bullets, which has been seen to work. Like you're killing these werewolves left and right, man. You're doing a good job. He uses the gun. You know that scene in a lot of these movies, the doors close and you have to put like a I don't know, like a 2x4
board or something like that.
A board or like, but he puts the gun full of silver bullets that have been killing these werewolves from the get-go. He puts them through those bars, and that's what he chooses to use to like lock them inside. Like, dude, you couldn't find anything else.
I know, and like, and it's not like the barn is like
your rifle full of silver bullets.
It's like
that's what you're using.
Solid construction.
Good
I mean,
God,
it's not like a brick house,
right?
I mean, any werewolf could break through those walls. But whatever.
I mean, I guess they end up getting away.
They get away.
I guess my complaint is a moot because they end up getting away unharmed for the most part.
Well, yeah, they do.
I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm just sick of seeing that in movies. You got something that works. It's finally killing the guy, and then you like throw it away. Or anyway,
that sounds like my professional life. You know, it's like whatever.
That's on our other podcast, Paul's Professional
Life.
Subscribe to that one too.
It's called Cautionary Tales. So
let's talk about the end scene. Maybe we should. That's probably a good time to pull that clip.
Yeah, I'm
where
gonna pull this
Dee
clip.
Wallace's character Karen admits her werewolfism to the world.
Yes. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pull this up. Can't wait to come back.
Fire that's burning out of control up the coast tonight. Firefighters have discovered the blaze seems to have started at the Colony, an experimental living community founded by author and behavior expert Dr. George West.
She's ready.
How's she look? She look all right to you?
Reports so far indicate that bodies have been discovered both inside and outside the Colony building.
Into a single?
Many of them burned beyond recognition, in what authorities on the scene are calling a Guyana-like spectacle. Now, for an exclusive eyewitness report on the incident, we welcome back.
She shows
Update
any
News
sign of
reporter
freezing like the last
Karen
time, go
White.
right to commercial.
Karen?
Take one.
Good evening. From the day we're born, there is a battle we must fight. A struggle between what is kind and peaceful in our natures and what is cruel and violent.
What the hell is this, an
That
editorial?
choice is our birthright as human beings and the real gift that differentiates us from the animals. It is as natural to us as the air we
Did
breathe.
you pass this material? She's not reading
All of
from the
us take
prompter.
it for granted.
We changed it a little.
But now for some of us, that choice has been taken away. A secret society exists and is living among all of us. They are neither people nor animals, but something in between. Monstrous mutations whose violent natures
Ready one? Take one.
must be satisfied. I know what you're thinking because I've been where you are.
That's enough.
Leave it.
And it's possible
Leave
to
it.
imagine.
Cut. Leave it!
But I have proof, and tonight I'm going to show you something. Make you believe.
Holy shit!
What is this?
Wow!
What are you kids watching?
The news lady's turned into a werewolf.
Oh boy. La mujer se cambió en un lobo. Hijo.
Switch, damn it, switch!
Doesn't that look good? Tender, meaty chunks of tantalizing nutrition. Soaked in
Things they do with special effects these days. Did you see the one about the guy in the spaceship?
It was real. He turned into a werewolf and they shot her.
You're plastic.
Doesn't mean it wasn't real.
Hey, Ernie, put a pepper steak on for me, will you? And a hamburger for the lady.
How do you want that?
How you want it, honey?
Rare.
And she turns into the Shih Tzu werewolf.
Yeah. She turns into Whizgig from the Dark Crystal.
Or Chewbacca. Or, I don't know. I mean, they tried to make her look different, and I understand that. Because she was like...
She did.
She wasn't bad like the other werewolves. But she looked... she looked... it's not the best effect
She
in the
looked
movie.
pathetic.
She looked cute. Like,
good gosh.
Yeah. It's a great scene. It's just, I kind of feel like they should have done something with it.
The scene itself is really powerful, but because she basically turns herself into a werewolf in front of the entire world.
Yeah.
And in the United States, at least, they show you the reaction of the people, and it's largely ignored.
Yeah.
And you have and it's just like today. Like today. A lot of people are saying it's not true. They're doubting it. They think it's like mojo and special effects.
Yeah, they're saying it's special effects, or they're going to say it's real, and they're like, well, who cares?
Or some people actually think it's real and just don't care. And they're like, okay, what's the score of the ball game? And it's just,
werewolves are real. Okay.
It matters. It's just like today.
Yeah.
Like something tragic happens. Everybody wants to put a ribbon on it. And then in 4 weeks, nobody remembers.
# werewolves are real.
Werewolves are real.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, this is, I feel like one of the things that detracts from this movie.
Can I say one thing, Paul?
Yes.
Now you hate when I do this. This movie ends with them grilling greasy freaking burgers. And you just know, in the 80s, there was a bunch of stoners sitting in the theater watching this. We were getting hungry just looking at it.
I was like, man, that burger looks bomb.
These burgers were fire.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I was thinking how many, if we went to go see it at our favorite drive-in
I would
theater,
have thought it was
I would have been crushing those little burgers they sell for $7.
I thought there was some sort of something going on with a burger chain in the Howling.
Yeah. So
guess not.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie, and then it spawned some sequels. Now, The Howling was based off of a book
by Gary Brandner.
Yes, Gary Brandner.
He actually wrote 3 of these books. They were all largely ignored.
And
except for the Howling name, they basically threw the actual gut of the book out the window.
Yeah, basically the book has the werewolf colony.
They paid this guy a lot of money for the name.
For the name and the werewolf colony.
Yeah.
But they seem to have they abandoned it for this movie. I think part 4 follows the book pretty closely.
Yeah, 4 is The Original Nightmare is the subtitle of that one. And I think it's supposed to be the closer adaptation to the book. Even though the movie is you don't want to watch it. It's awful.
No. This movie definitely suffers from legacy.
The original movie is respectable.
It's a really good movie.
Right. So it's a respectable werewolf movie, right? And then let's go down the line here. Here are the sequels. So here's The Howling. Let's consider that top 4 werewolf movies of all time. Cool.
Yeah.
Then you go Howling 2. Your werewolf is a sister. Or, I'm sorry.
Your sister is a werewolf. But whatever.
It would have been better if my way.
Yeah.
Your werewolf is a sister. No, your sister is a werewolf. It was a European film.
Yeah, it had featuring Reb Brown, who's pretty
and
great.
Christopher Lee.
And
then Howling 3 is the marsupials. Do you know what a marsupial is? Okay. those of you going to Wikipedia right now, I'll let you know. It's mammals that have that little pouch thing in the front, like a kangaroo. So basically, the marsupials was like were kangaroos.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
That has a lot to do with the original plot, doesn't it? And then, all right, 4 was the original Nightmare, which tried to,
Bring it back
to its roots. 5 was Rebirth, which I think if that's the one in the castle.
Yeah, it
like
feels
a
like
whodunit.
I feel like it's I feel like The Howling suffers from like the Italian unofficial sequel syndrome, where they have like the unofficial sequels that we talked about in like our Demons podcast, where there's like 5 movies that have nothing to do with one another.
They're like it's a long. I'll just real quick. I'll just throw it out. And 6 is The Freaks. None of these movies have anything to do with the other one. There's no continuity.
And
there's no like, oh, this character is a son or daughter of that character from the previous film, or
this person was at the colony.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's anthology horror.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like an anthology horror series, basically.
But it does suffer for a bad legacy of the
bad movies usually do. These are bad movies, except for the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see Christopher Lee, you know,
or Red Brown,
hang out with like naked chicks, I guess Howling 2 would be okay.
But yeah,
Howling 3, I mean, if you're just like coming down off of a bad trip. But if you want to see
Christopher Lee with like naked chicks, all you gotta do is watch Wicker Man.
I guess, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to find a justification for watching some of these other movies, and I'm just not finding it.
Well, you know, what were werewolves?
Like if you're a big fan of the Howling,
what were werewolves missing before then? Before like any other werewolf movie, a pocket, you know, and I think you know having a pocket would make a more effective werewolf.
You're talking about their little tummy pocket to put their cubs in?
Well, yeah, in the marsupials. I don't know. I'm trying to help, man. Trying to help.
I guess.
But, you know, like, that kind of gets me going with, like, shapeshifters, though. Like, werewolves are the most popular shapeshifter there is. There hasn't been a lot of...
the other ones are pretty bad. They're usually like one and done. Like what's the one that we always laugh at?
The Beast Within.
Beast Within, which is a killer. What is it?
It's a cicada.
Cicada.
Which is
soundtrack by John Cicada. No, it's just a bug man.
Yeah. Who turns into a cicada. Which is, you know, a pretty annoying bug if you live in the Northeast. But
but that's it.
Yeah,
it's just annoying.
Makes it an annoying
I mean, they're gross looking, but like they don't, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
they don't try to kill you.
No, they try to like. I remember like a bunch of them molted on like my bike tire once, and I pulled my bike out because my bike was like kept on my side yard because I didn't have a garage, and I came out one day and there was just like all these like exoskeletons all over my bike tire. It was gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah. It's just gross. But, you know, I think as far as werewolf movies go, you can't go wrong with The Howling. You can't go wrong with Silver Bullet.
Special effects alone, you gotta...
You know, you have, you know, American Werewolf, one that's a little bit later. What are your top werewolf movies?
Top 5?
Yeah.
I'm going to be ballsy here because usually we say things like top 5 and then we don't give our top 5. We kind of like
you out of promised...
that. I do that a lot.
Yeah, but you said you have your list in your wallet and you would be happy to show it with me.
Top 5 werewolves is easy for me. And that's number 1 is going to be American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, that's my number 2. Number one is The Howling.
For me, it didn't change my number 2. I still put Silver Bullet. Now, I understand why that would be kind of sacrilegious to some. Because The Howling is a true, like, monster werewolf movie. But I grew up on Silver Bullet. I like the sentimentality. I don't know. I dig it. Number 3 for me would be The Howling, which it's still really high in my pecking. And it's really close to number 2. It just barely gets there. 4 would be Dog Soldiers. 5 would be interesting. I guess that would be Ginger Snaps.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think my top 5 are Howling number 1. Very close number 2 with American Werewolf. Number 3, Dog Soldiers. Number 4, Ginger Snaps. Number 5, the Lon Chaney Wolfman. So,
wow, Silver Bullet didn't crack your top 5?
It didn't.
I'm gonna have to double think this podcast, man.
Yeah, well, it's definitely top 10. Definitely top 10.
I thought we were doing like an age cutoff, but yeah. Lon Chaney Wolfman is.
It's a staple of my childhood. I was like,
yeah, I can't fault you for that.
You know,
I can't fault you for that, and I never will.
Yeah,
I love the Universal monsters. Hopefully, we'll do a podcast just about that one day. That would be great.
Yeah,
maybe around Halloween time.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I think that kind of brings this to its logical conclusion.
Yeah, we are great fans of this movie. And
Adam has to go and chew up food for old people. And
I was kind of hoping we could just push that under the rug.
No.
Remind everyone that I said that.
No. I think I'm going to bring this up every day.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Right.
So Adam's going to go chew up some food. And I'm going to... I have to go run down near the adult video store. So,
what's changed?
So yeah, nothing's changed, and we are still the same.
Anyway, thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
To a new world of gods and monsters.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Have a great night.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.